What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Chi, and we are back with another video. I hope you guys are having a great week. Actually, let us know how your week is going. If it's going great, let us know in the comments, and if it's going terrible, we're gonna cheer you up. So just let us know how your week is going. So obviously, full disclaimer: everything I say on this channel, all the videos you see on this channel are from simple internet research. Everything that you see on the channel is freely available on the internet. I just do my own research and compile them into a video. So if you like what you see, subscribe and let's get into the video. In 2020, 35-year-old Grace, mother of 5 daughters that she had from a previous marriage, was found dead in the apartment of her fiance. And this fiance is the captain of the Maryland Heights firefighter, and this is Robert Dowse. They had been together for about 4 years, so maybe 2016. And they were in love for about 2 years and started to get engaged in 2018 before the incident happened in 2020. Firefighter Captain Robert has his own son from a previous relationship, but with his family, they think her relationship was abusive, and there's just a lot they have to say about this. And the circumstances in which she was found is very iffy. Robert's family is made up of first responders, and his father was actually the previous captain where he is right now. And Grace's family believes that her relationship was abusive. And when Grace joined, family says when she joined the company, when she joined like the family, she was being forced to work for the company because the Roberts family owns a company that makes memorials for first responders. And Grace was not particularly put on the payroll, so she was being paid under the table. And so when they bought a house together, as Robert controlled most of the finances. Most of the relationship, though, lived in Fairways Circle, and they had just picked out the house on Conway Road. And on June 9, 2020, Grace recorded an argument that she had with Rob. And in this video, Rob can be heard saying, "You're just making problems for me." And Grace is like, "You don't want me to die, so stop saying that." And his response to that is, "I wish you'd just go away, but I realize that's not going to happen." That's just one of the arguments that they had, and this is a recorded argument. But what about the ones that were not recorded? What could he have said? And in that same month, Grace reported that Rob had pushed, dragged, and shoved her he had pushed, shoved, and dragged her down the hallway, and she had bruises on her arms, her thighs, and her spine, and she actually photographed these injuries. And I'm like, when you see a woman start documenting her injuries, it's like must have happened before. It's probably not the first time when she's just taking pictures of it. Starts recording arguments, starts documenting injuries. This is like a sign that you need to leave. But we are just getting started. At some point, this keeps happening, and Grace goes to Robert's office and reports to the chief medical officer, and it's like, Robert's blowing up at home. But out of that her concern and the report that she made, nothing came out of it because obviously the guy there, who is Mark Russell, Mark is one of Robert's friends, and it's just like reporting him to his boss. But they probably I can just imagine that they just talked about it and no, it's okay, she's been crazy and she's just acting up, and nothing happened. At one time, Robert was blowing up and going crazy, so shoving things into the yard, and Grace calls her mom, and her mom is like, "Okay, this is going crazy, call the police." And the mom could hear Robert respond from the call, right? He's standing there and he responds, and it's like, "My brothers in blue are not going to do anything to me. I've already taken care of that. You are the crazy girlfriend, remember?" So you can already imagine that since he has friends everywhere, the whole community likes him, everyone knows him and his family, I would feel that most of the people in position there, either his friends, his dad's friends, or somehow related to the family. And if he's like, "You're the crazy girlfriend," you can imagine what he must have been talking about with those people and already made her look or seem crazy in their eyes. So at that point, Grace's mom was like, babe, get out of there now. And she is having this golden sweetheart. And I was like, no, mom, I cannot leave him in this state that he's in. So Fisher, which is Grace's mom, the children report to her like that Robert is shoving along. He's always yelling at her. And he had even scared the kids by throwing a phone across the dinner table over little things that could just happen in the house. For example, silver were not being placed correctly, or the couch touching the curtains. It's like insane. So Grace recorded another conversation or argument in which Rob was saying that he's been in a forced effing marriage and he's gonna spend as little time as possible with her. This is your cue to be like, make it easy for him and just let him spend zero time with her. Because I'm just thinking, she had 4 adorable daughters, and to them, their mom is like everything to her. I don't see why she was putting Rob above herself and trying to think about him, probably just like this is one of his blow-ups and there's like zero reasons to stay with him. And so it's reported that he tried to offer Grace $600 through text to get rid of the pregnancy that she was carrying. So on July 16, 2020, Grace texts him, I love you, please be safe. And he responds with, I don't want to get married. I told you this over and over. All you do is keep pushing. Move on with your life. This is over. And then a few minutes later, he texts her again, get out of my house. I don't want to get married. I don't want a baby. I don't want to live with your girl. So the next day, that's July 17, 2020. And they have a conversation like the previous day did not happen. I'm not sure if they're living in the same house at this point, but like they had a normal conversation. He was just asking if she wanted to meet up with some friends, and then they talked about something in their house that they were going to fix. And it was just a normal conversation. And he ends that conversation with, I absolutely cannot be with you. I'm not marrying you. You and your effing kids, F off. So that's how their conversation continued for days. On July 19th, he texts Grace again. I've asked you to leave several times. I don't want you there. I don't want you or your kid. I want away. I've asked you to leave. Take your jeep, your things, and leave. I'm done. July 20th, it comes up, and Robert goes crazy again, and he's like, I want you out of my life. You did not but ruin my first night staying at Conway. Remember I said they had picked a new house together in Conway? Yeah, that house. The thought of you sleeping in that house makes me want to throw up. That's how much I hate you. And then on July 21st, 2020, at around 10 p.m., Grace takes a selfie with her and Robert in the new house, and Grace can be seen smiling. I do not understand the mental strength. Like, I do not know where she took her energy from. Like, what did he give her? Why was she still staying with him? That would be the last time Grace's beautiful smile would be seen in a picture, because 7 hours later, she would be found dead in their old home. Remember, she took the selfie at 10 p.m. in their new house in bed with Rob. And 7 hours later, it is unclear what happened, like what transpired between that time. But she's found dead in their old house. And remember what he said about him feeling sick about her being present or sleeping in the new house? Yeah. And he hasn't given an explanation as to what happened. There's no clear explanation as to what happened in those 7 hours. Her cause of death was a gunshot wound to the temple, and she was shot around 5 a.m. on the 22nd of July, 2022. And about a few minutes later that, first responders, police officers arrived. And by 7 a.m. in the morning, detectives arrived. And 25 minutes later, they made a phone call to the medical examiner, and this is what they said. This is great. Holland came into the living room to give Robert a hug, and she went back into the bedroom without speaking to him. Shortly after, Robert heard a single gunshot and located Holland in the bedroom with a gun and apparently red stains beneath her head. Later that same day, Robert went to the police, but his statement was quite different from what this detective had told the medical examiner. When he went to the station, this is what he recounted, that he woke up and was stocking clothes in his hand and was standing in the closet. Grace got up, left the bedroom, and then came to hug him. But he wanted to hug her, but could not because of the clothes in his hands. And then she left and came back and kind of hugged him, pulling his face close to hers. And then she stood to his right side and just told him goodbye. And then she heard a gunshot and she fell to the ground and then saw a gun and red stains coming out of her head. That was what he recounted. And apparently his first recorded interview was lost. That's what the user was lost. So that's a statement Robert gave when he went down to the station with his lawyer. Now, Laura, who is Grace's sister, heard about her sister's death on Facebook. And this was from a concerned teacher, one of the niece's teachers, who had heard about the death of her parents. So she texted her and was like, "Is it true your sister is dead?" And that's the first time she heard about what had happened to Grace. So she called her sister and then called her mom, and she could hear muffled voices crying from behind, and she could tell that they had just learned about the news. And she can only remember her mom telling her over and over, don't drive. And I can imagine the pain and suffering the mom must have been going through just learning that she had lost a daughter, and all she can think of is, don't drive. I don't have the bandwidth to lose another child with such a terrible tragic news that she had just heard. Also, the family says Robert never even tried to get in touch with them and be part of the funeral or anything. And he absolutely cut ties with her 4 daughters. So as an adult, you would imagine that the children's brain have known you for about 4 years and they have gotten used to you and just disappearing out of their life like that. It's suspicious. It is. So Robert was interviewed about the $20,000 ring that was on Grace's hand, the engagement ring he gave her. That was on Grace's hand when during the crime scene photos that were no longer there. What happens to the ring? And it was like, no, that one was just a fake that we made for traveling purposes so that they don't get robbed. And he says that was a fake, the real one was missing. He first of all tried to say that Grace had returned the ring to him, and that was from old conversations that they already had, so he'd given it back to her. Now, Grace's sister Laura wrote a very long, open letter to the police because nothing came out of the case. It was not like something is wrong, no one was charged. And Grace's sister wrote a long letter to the police outlining 20 points where they made mistakes. Some of the highlights of the letter that she wrote was the misinformation I was given to the medical examiner, because what the detective called the medical examiner was different from what Robert said happened. So the misinformation, they failed to remove friends of Robert from the investigation. His friends, everyone knows his family and friends, and they failed to remove his friends from that investigation. What about gunpowder residue? Did they test his hands for gunpowder residues? And the person from the police was like, just are not always 100% accurate. But that's something that it's the first thing that you do at a crime scene. They closed the crime scene without calling the family of the girl. They also failed to identify missing property. We talked about the ring. Grace's death just remained under investigation, and in January 31st of 2024, it was said that it is considered a suspicious death and is still under investigation. And the reason why this case has taken a lot of attention is what we're about to talk about right now. But let's talk about Sarah Sweeney. She was born on the 2nd of November 1984 to Stephen and Teresa Sweeney. By the age of 6, she was diagnosed with this disease called Perkins disease, and I'm just going to explain a little bit about it. And the reason we're talking about her diagnosis and how it's supposed to react is so that you can understand what happens later down the line. This is an uncommon condition that can affect kids between the ages of 3 and 11. And this is when blood is disrupted to the head of the thigh, and that can cause deterioration of the bone, and which causes pain. It can cause limping or just limited movement to the joint. But Sarah was really smart and graduated high school in 2003. By 2007, she graduated from Carolina University in biology and microbiology, and her minor was in biochemistry. So this lady was like really smart. Sarah went on to become a doctor and did her surgical residency in Miami, lived in Texas for a while, and then moved to St. Louis, Missouri to open her own practice. Her family describes her as outgoing and just vibrant and fun, and she's a doctor, so she was smart. Sarah also loved animals, was an excellent pianist and an artist. Like, this woman was just really great. And she enjoyed fashion, purses, and jewelry. But at some point, Sarah got diagnosed with mast cell activation syndrome. So people who have MCAS can experience a lot of symptoms because of high levels of mast cell mediators that are released. And some of these symptoms include hives, with gastrointestinal upset, high blood pressure, and anaphylaxis. So not long after moving to St. Louis, Sarah met Rob, and soon after they became engaged. At this point, I'm thinking, for someone who says, I hate to get married, who really, really doesn't want to get married, who wants away, it shows in a rush to get engaged with people. And I could not really find a timeline as to when they met. But apparently, it's not too long after Grace died. So she met Robert and fell in love, and they got engaged. Now, Sarah's family saw that, like, their daughter is dating this guy, and they saw these articles and news about him having an ex-fiancé who died under suspicious circumstances. So obviously, they're sending it to their daughter, like, hey, have you seen this? Have you seen this? But Sarah had stopped responding to her mom and stepfather. So at this point, they don't know what to do. And you guessed it, it was our same Iraq. At 6:39 a.m., January 13th, 2024, Sarah's body was found in the Conway home. Remember the home that he had picked with the other lady who died in their first house? Yeah, her body was found in this home that was owned by Robert, and the police said there were no apparent signs of trauma. And this is where the question comes. Is this coincidence, or is something going wrong here? And that was why I said I'm going to explain the case as much as I can to you guys and try not to put in my own opinions. So you guys just try to explain everything that I've been able to find out from my research, and let you guys conclude. Let me know in the comments what you think. But Grace's family lawyer just put out a statement that he's hoping that the Frontenac Police Department can do what the other police department failed to do and investigate this tragedy properly. And he's just saddened to see that there's another death from son, a young, vibrant, smart, intelligent woman. Sarah's lawyer said she did have a life-threatening disease, and at some point in 2021, she had been intubated, and we talked about her different illnesses, different conditions that she had had. So it is possible that she might have died natural causes, but other articles have been released after that statement to say that she was fearful of him, and she described him as being suspected of ending his previous girlfriend. But this is just, the case is still open and still ongoing, so everything here is just alert at this point. But what do you guys think? What's your take on me? Because personally, I'm just like, even if he literally did not end, he wasn't the one who shot Grace, all of the emotional torture and torments that he had put her through could have definitely caused her to end herself. But I literally do not know why she decided to stay with him, because for so many, having children is so fulfilling. Like, it can be so fulfilling in life. Just have your kids and take care of them, especially because he has four adorable daughters. And now to find this second person dead again on the, like, no clear reason. What do you guys think? Like, what do you guys think? Is it just a coincidence? Like, one innocent guy who might not have been in love with his first girlfriend, but might have been in love with the second one. And it's just an unfortunate situation for him. What do you guys think? I'm really eager to know your opinions, and I'll definitely be following this case as it progresses. But let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.